graduate? What did you study and what are you doing now?
Sure, absolutely. So, Andy Verlengia, I'm a 2002 Drake grad from the School of Journalism and Mass Communication, and I currently actually work at Drake. I'm our Director of Alumni Relations and have been on staff at the university for the last, 3.5 years. Um, yeah, that's me.
Do you feel like you get pretty connected with the Drake community through doing that?
Absolutely. That's been one of the neat parts about moving back and being in the Midwest. I was, after graduating, I was in Chicago for about 3 years, which was nice. And then I spent about 10 years living in Orlando, Florida, working for the Walt Disney World Company, which was great. And then ended up coming back with my wife, wanted to be closer to my family and getting back here. It's been great to be near campus, to be able to go to basketball games and be around for different activities for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what are your top three Drake memories that have stuck with you?
Boy, that is a good question. I'll probably be somewhat general, but it's funny. I think everybody always remembers, when you first get to campus, when that first semester starts. And back then, a Goodwin Kirk was a first year dorm, not like it is now. So I remember coming, they were not suite style. There were small rooms. There was no air conditioning. Met my roommate at orientation, and we've been friends ever since. And he's gone on to do really great things in his career. But just thinking back fondly of what it was like to start, I went through recruitment for fraternity, joined a fraternity Sigma Chi. That ended up being a really foundational experience for me while I was at Drake. But I remember fondly that first fall and all of the excitement and all the neat changes that happened. I also, a big one for me are the Drake relays, being involved in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication, the Drake Broadcasting Society. At the time, we were the largest student-run broadcast production in the country. And so where the relays experience is different for a lot of people, sometimes, you really spend that weekend celebrating. For me, I got the chance to be a sideline reporter. So it was, enjoying some of the social aspects, but then getting up really early, getting to the stadium, being down on the inside the Blue Oval and having the chance to actually talk to world-class athletes. And it was incredible to get that experience. And then to be doing the production with some of my best friends from the program who were in different roles, that was pretty cool.
Sounds fantastic. Like a very irreplaceable experience too. Like that feels like something that like you only get at Drake. You really couldn't do that anywhere else. So yeah.
Absolutely. And you're with professors that know who you are, and you're getting such hands-on experience. And I did that my whole time at Drake. So you're a first-year student getting to do these key positions, and it wasn't like a larger school where maybe you would have had to wait until your senior year and hope that you would get an opportunity. So yeah, absolutely.
That is awesome. Drake's so cool. What was your favorite study spot on campus?
That's a good question. If it was on campus, I mean, it's maybe that's not as exciting, but certainly the library, and it's been remodeled now, so it's even nicer. But I always felt you could get in there and get a good spot, and just kind of get a chance to get away and get your focus on, get your mind right.
Yeah, did they have the quiet section like they do now?
Where is that?
So if you go upstairs where the fishbowl is, there's back in the stacks, there's just tables that are kind of sectioned off into individual seats. And I mean, you can hear a pin drop up there. I'm scared to study up there sometimes because I feel like I'm going to make noise.
That's really nice. The layout is definitely a little bit different, but you could kind of go upstairs and then back around to the right, and then the reading room, people would go in there as well. Yeah,
that reading room is beautiful. I love having events in there.
Absolutely.
So one of the questions on here says, tell us about your work as a dragon boat race announcer.
So yeah, not Drake related, but but it is in a way. So when I graduated in 2002, my major was in broadcast news, and I had the opportunity to work actually for a Drake alum, John Walters, at Channel 5. He's now the voice of Iowa State, the Cyclones, and does all their radio broadcasts for men's basketball and football. So I had the chance to work for him, Channel 5, had some experience at Channel 13, and really loved that experience. But as I was graduating, I had a great opportunity to go work for my fraternity in Chicago, and my career changed a little bit. I became their event director. And so worked there for 3 years, got some incredible experience around events, and really found this passion for event programming, bringing people together. And then had done the internship in the Walt Disney World College program while I was still in school. And at Drake, that was a great experience. Took a semester off, was down at the college program. And so wanted to get to warmer weather. My sister was down there, loved Disney, and ended up going down working at their Wide World of Sports complex as a sports event manager and then in business development. And actually, if you're an NBA fan at all, where they're holding all of the games in the tournament is at the complex I used to work in. So one of my best buddies is actually down there. Anyway, but I'd always had a passion for kind of MC work and using some of the journalism skills. And there's a company out of Toronto that held an event down at the complex, this dragon boating, and they needed an announcer last minute. I'm like, I think I can do it for you. I did it. The next year they invited me to do it again there. Then they invited me to go to Cocoa Beach. And then after that, they started inviting me to the different events they did all over North America. And so each year, this year, unfortunately not, but I've been to Toronto with them, New Jersey, New Orleans, Reno, Nevada, Colorado Springs. And it's just a great chance. I work for them and I'm kind of the MC, the race announcer on site, but it's fun.
Such a fantastic, like very niche opportunity to have. That's amazing.
Cora,
I feel like great grads just attract opportunities like that.
It is. And, I think the thing is, Cora, is just recognizing that you get such a really cool, diverse skill set from the university, and recognizing that, your career can change and shift wherever you go, but you truly get this lifelong education that you can draw from in different ways. And I think for me, it's exciting to have that opportunity to still get to use a lot of what I learned at Drake specific to kind of journalism and projecting your voice and being present. And it's this whole other kind of second life I get to live outside of my day job, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. So in light of all that, how would you suggest that like first year students make the most out of their time at Drake, especially this year when we're having all the precautions? How would you say that they should live it to the fullest here?
That's a great question, Cora. I think it is so challenging right now in the COVID environment. I think, when you come in as a first year student, there's so many great clubs and groups. Student Alumni Association, we'll put a plug in for that. And I heard someone, the student life professional from Drake this summer saying, find out where your heart is and get involved, but get involved in what you want to get involved. Don't worry that, well, I should do this because it would look good on a resume. Go for the things that you really care about and they mean a lot to you, because in the end, that will make you a better person. It'll make you a better professional if you're doing the stuff you want to do versus the stuff you feel like you have to do. So I think try to be selective, which is tough because I heard that advice and I reflected back when I first started and it's like, oh my gosh, I could do this and this and this. But really try to hone in and go deeper with fewer organizations than being just a little bit involved in a lot of organizations, I think is kind of what I would say. But get involved, whatever you do, get involved. I know it's virtually right now, but that's, I think, the best thing you can do.
That's a smart way to think about it. So not like Drake busy, but still Drake balanced. Is that what we're still going for?
Corey, you're good. And I need to be interviewing you. So you're doing a much better job than I am.
I wouldn't say that, but thank you. So since you were doing more broadcast journalism with Relays when you were here, how has your time at Relays shifted since then, especially in your role as Director of Alumni Relations? Do you get to do things through your role or just as an alum, or what's your current Relays experience like?
It's funny. I feel like I missed kind of just the alum experience because I moved away and then some of the programs that I had when I first graduated, unfortunately, they were always kind of taking place around the April time window. So I think I only made it back once within the first 5 years I was out. And then after I moved to Florida, I wasn't coming home at that time of year. It was usually just the holidays. So I feel like I've not really gotten the true alum experience because I was either a student or then now, obviously working for the university. And that is bar none our busiest time of the year for the work that I do with all the different programs that we have going on. The 50-year reunion, we hold it at that time every year. We'll do different reunions. It was going to be a Black alumni reunion this past spring, which we had to delay. We'll do college and school reunions. And then we have the huge alumni tent party. So I get to enjoy it. It's great because I get to see, I'm working, but I get to see a ton of friends that come back and then a lot of people that I've met now through the role. But it is such a great time of year. And I feel so sad for our seniors last year that missed that experience. And I'm really, really hopeful that they'll get to come back and their first one will be, even bigger and better than the ones they had when they were undergrads.
Yeah, keep it hopeful. I hope it'll happen in the spring.
Right.
Very
Keep
hard
our
to
fingers
tell
crossed.
week to week though. Yeah. So with the current calls for the release of the COVID data and things like that, I know that they've started to release some numbers, but then also with racial justice, how has Drake responded to the issues while you've been part of it, and how do you feel that Drake engages with its student body?
Yeah, no, thanks, Cora. I think, I have an interesting perspective, certainly working on staff. And, I know a lot of the leaders and the work that they're trying to do, certainly with COVID. I can't say enough about what they've done to try to keep campus safe. A lot of members of our team are working as part of contact tracing. And I mean, they're calling people within 5 minutes of finding out they've got a positive result, working with them to get them isolated or get them quarantined. So I'm certainly proud of what the university has done. I think, you know, in regards to a lot of what we've seen in systemic racism, there's a lot that we can do. And while I can't speak for the university, I can certainly talk for alumni relations. And we recognize that there's a number of things that we can do. I'd encourage anybody that's curious, if you go to Drake's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion page, and then you can go to leadership statements. And we've got a statement in there that I wrote on behalf of the Office of Alumni Relations, and really where we outlined, I think it's 5 or 6 really key steps that we want to take specific to our Black alumni to make sure that they feel a bond and a tie back to the university, that we respect and appreciate their experience on campus, and that we want to do all we can to continue to improve the experience the students are having and strengthen that bond from our Black alumni back to the university. So there's a lot that we want to do and that we need to do. And I think what's so important, what I'm so proud of our team, is none of it is about checking a box. None of it is about doing something to say you did it. It's how can we create something that is meaningful and lasting and is a part of our work consistently, that it's not, oh, we need to make sure we're doing this. It's just part of what we do, is that we're being inclusive, certainly for our Black alumni, but also our LGBTQ alumni, alumni with disabilities across the board. Just recognize that we've got a vibrant 76,000 person alumni network, and we want to make sure that they all feel this tie and bridge back to the university.
That's great. Yeah, I love that the alumni office is backing their words with actions. I just think that's so fantastic that, and it's not like you're doing it all behind the scenes too. You know, you're putting that on the Drake page with that tab that anybody can go and find. So I just think that you're doing a really good job with that, especially since it's so collaborative in there.
Cora, I appreciate it. And I would tell you, there is an incredible team in alumni relations. And I think as we talk through what is our statement, what do we want to put out there, it was just awesome, the collaboration from each and every person weighing in and giving feedback. And we do have a great team. That's probably one of the neatest parts now about my Drake experience, is the people that I get to work with day in and day out. And it's so cool to have had the Drake experience as a student, and the things that make that so wonderful, the classmates that you have, the small atmosphere, the personalization. And then you get to the staff side and it's very, very similar, you know, in a different way. So it's neat to see that the Drake just carries through regardless of what your role is on campus.
That's so great to hear. Yeah, I love just coming into the house and thinking, just am I going to end up back here after I graduate, or what the deal is going to be. So I just love that Drake's probably going to be a part of my life for the rest of my life, which is so wonderful to think about, because I've had such an amazing experience here thus far. So with that, do you have a take-home message that you want to get across?
Well, I was going to think, so I'm trying to think back at some of the questions that you had shared. I certainly want to say, you know, advice to first-year students. We didn't have kind of the traditional welcome week this year, and usually I get the opportunity to address them. But my biggest thing in regards to alumni is seek out alumni. They want to help you. You know, looking back, I didn't take enough advantage of that. And it was a little, LinkedIn didn't exist. And, you know, it was a little harder to try to track down who are alumni that wanted to engage with you. But there are people that want to give back. You know, alumni see you as themselves, you know, a number of years later. So them helping you is almost like them helping that younger version of themselves. And they want to help you with job shadow opportunities. They want to give you advice. Start making those connections now rather than when you're a senior, because when you're a senior, you start to look for a job, it gets a little tougher. But when you're meeting people now and all you really want is just advice and direction, they're happy to do it. Our office is happy to help make those connections. So please, please think about, you know, how our alums, we've got them everywhere. And I always tell people there's an alum somewhere doing what you want to do, and they'd love to connect with you.
That's amazing. Yep, just the Drake network is so expansive. They're every corner of the world. It's so funny. Yeah, my mom, she was in Oregon a couple years ago, and just at a restaurant with one of her friends in a small town somewhere, and walked somebody in a Drake shirt, and they were a recruiter for that region. And it was just, what are the odds that they find each other there? Stories like that are what really make Drake special, I think.
It's so cool. And I think with a smaller school, even the farther you get from Des Moines, it means even more to alums when they run into another one. And I remember in Florida, I ran into another staff member that had gone to Drake, and it was like, what, you know, at Disney and all these people, and we found each other. It is pretty special. How about you, Cora? What is your message for first-year students, like how they can engage with alums or kind of get off to the right start?
Gosh, I would just have to say that for me personally, it's a little bit scary to reach out to an alum that I don't know and they don't know me, and I'm not sure how our interests are going to match up. But the experiences that I've had talking to alums have been so great because, yeah, like you said, they really do want to reach out to us and help us with things, and just taking that leap of faith and hoping that it works out, and 99% of the time it will. So that's why I really like the fireside chats that we get to do, and Table for 10, things like this. I hope this takes off in the next couple of years, and it's just fantastic.
Wasn't it last fall, Cora, where you were working with Lyle? Wasn't it Lyle? And you guys
Yeah,
ended
I
up
was
getting
thinking
together for
about
lunch.
Lyle. He's such a fun guy. He signed a book for me and gave it to me, and just continued to reach out and just make sure that things were going all right. And yeah, your dad too, since he's my mentor, he's been super nice. He reached out a few times since I've seen him last, and yeah, it's just amazing.
No, that's great, Cora. They do want to help. And the other thing I would always tell people, go on LinkedIn and build a LinkedIn profile. Do it as a student, do it as a first year, do it as a second year. And then you can search by industry. You can put Drake as a college, you can search by industry. And it's incredible. I'm always finding alums that are doing really cool jobs, and I'll reach out and say, hey, we've got a panel coming up. Would you be willing to serve? And even if you're not comfortable making that outreach, you can reach out to our office and we can let you know, is that an alum that we have a connection with, or can we help you try to get them connected? Because a lot of times you'd be surprised. People will say yes and go above and beyond for sure.
Good to see the good in people, especially now.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming and being part of this. We really appreciate it.